From my home to yours, all the very best. From my heart to yours, God's richest blessings. May you come to know, my friend, may you come to know that you are never, never alone. Never, never. Not in this life, and not in the moment that you prepare to depart to the next. Did you know that with the help of God, you can face death unafraid? Many people fear the final moments more than any moments. You don't have to be among them. You can face death unafraid. My Bible is open to John chapter 14. If you've got about 8 minutes, I want to talk to you about how God will help you face your final moments. If you don't have those moments, if you don't have those minutes, you just post your prayer needs before you slip out. As a pastor, I'm often asked to speak at funerals. I don't have to ask the family what they want me to say. I already know. I may have to ask a question or two about the deceased and gather some details, and that I do, but I don't ask them what they want me to say. I don't need to. I know. You know what? You know what they want to hear? They want to hear what God says about death. They want to hear what God would say at that funeral. They want to hear God answer their questions about the life hereafter. They don't want my opinion. They don't want the thoughts of a philosopher. They don't want the research of a scientist. They want to know what God says. If Jesus were here at the head of this casket, in the middle of this cemetery, if Jesus were here speaking at this memorial service, what would he say? And you know what? We don't have to speculate. We don't have to speculate. Listen to what Jesus spoke about death. John chapter 14. Don't let your hearts be troubled. Trust in God and trust also in me. There are many rooms in my Father's house. I would not tell you this if it were not true, and I am going there to prepare a place for you. After I go and prepare a place for you, I will come back and take you to be with me, so that you may be where I am. Trust me, Jesus says. Trust me. When you face the tomb, don't be troubled. Trust me. That's his message to you today. Do you need that message today? You get the impression that to God, the grave is not it's a no-brainer. It's well within his realm of authority. You know, if I were to take my car into a mechanic and tell him I think it needs an overhaul, he would say, no worry, I can handle that. For me, it'd be an ordeal. For him, it's no big deal. Same with death and God. I remember many years ago, many times, I would pick up a sleeping daughter from the couch and carry her upstairs. I can remember how little 5-year-old Sarah, my daughter, youngest of the 3, used to fall asleep on the couch, and every night it seemed I would carry her up the stairs, carry her to her bedroom, and put her in her bed. Now why? Why did I do that night after night after night? Well, I knew it was rest time. And I knew that rest upstairs was better than rest down below. Doesn't God do the same? Doesn't he, knowing more than we, doesn't he, as a loving Father, at the right time, carry us to the place of rest he created? Friend, for God, death is no tragedy. In God's economy, the termination of the body is really the beginning of life. Can you imagine if Sarah's older sisters had objected to my decision to carry her upstairs? Don't take her, Dad. Don't take her. Please keep her here so we'll all be together. Now, how would I have answered? Well, I would have said, but she'll rest much better in the room that I have prepared for her. Besides, you'll be coming up yourself soon. By calling us home, God is doing what any good father would do. He is providing a better place for us to rest. A place that, look at this, He has prepared for us. By the way, I've often thought it curious how few people Jesus raised from the dead. He healed hundreds. He fed thousands. But as far as we know, He only raised 3. The daughter of Jairus, the boy near Nain, and Lazarus. Why so few? Could it be because He knew He'd be doing them no favors by calling them back to earth? Could it be because He couldn't get any volunteers? Could it be that once someone is there, the last place they want to return to is here? We must trust God. We must trust not only that He does what is best, but that He knows what is ahead. He knows what's best. Ponder these words from the book of Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 57. The good men perish. The godly die before their time, and no one seems to care or wonder why. No one seems to realize that God is taking them away from the evil days ahead. For the godly who die shall rest in peace. It's in Isaiah 57. My, what a thought. God is taking them away from the evil days ahead. Could death be God's grace? Could the funeral wreath be God's safety ring? Why does an 8-year-old die of cancer? Why is a young mother taken from her children? As horrible as the grave may be, could it be God's protection from the evil days that lie ahead, from the future? Trust in God, Jesus urges, and trust in me. Trust in me. Friend, heaven is the prepared place, prepared for God's prepared people. He's preparing a place for you. In these days in which we're all so weary, which we're all so worried, which we're all so worn, would you please hear the invitation of Christ? Trust in God and trust also in me. All the best.